like, it was a 3 face, 9 body, plus personality. Like, sky's the limit, because she literally walked over into our literal office, and I fucked it up. It really does. It literally looked like an office too, and she was like intrigued. Oh. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing next time we hang out, is running the office the whole time. So you can see how this can't fail, right? So we start with 10 minutes of office, and then we wrap with 20 minutes of office. And in the middle, what are we doing in the middle? Yeah, so we're starting with 10 minutes of the office. What are we doing in the middle? No, we're also running the office. Get it? But we'll be running the office like in the wild at the front lines. At the front lines of vagina. Oh my God. Because we literally saw the fact that you can't just go person. Oh, what are the supplies needed for the office? Because we need supplies. Yeah, you actually don't need that, actually. You just need a hat. That's like CVS. Okay, so what do you need office supplies wise? It's on page 2 or 1. Oh my God. Nope. Nice try. Dude, A fucking plus with a springboard, because that's exactly what I wrote down. Seriously. That's The Office. Is the book Becoming Supernatural. So take the foretop, okay, and multiply the foretop by 100. That's 2 books. That's 2 books running The Office. Let me repeat. You have a book, Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. I have a book, Becoming Supernatural. Imagine if more than 2 dudes had the same book at the front lines. 2 is like a neutron bomb. Aerospace engineering co-founder, not required. Having 2 people with 2 books, and then you can sheepishly carry it, you can openly carry it. Oh my God, open carry. Oh my God, that's hilarious too. Get it? Because it sounds like a gun. You open carry the book. Like, oh, this is a bazooka. Like, there you go, and that's hilarious. Because literally everybody cold opens. I have done this. One dude, I know, it's fucking hilarious. I have done one dude, 3 books. What book did I do? Becoming Supernatural, Joe Dispenza. Why? Because women love it. I did one dude, 3 books, because I was in Vegas and I didn't want to, start the on the road cult. So I didn't even tweet, oh, hey, I'm going to go to this Las Vegas coffee shop. I literally just went to my hotel's lobby's coffee shop. I put 3 copies of the book down, and then people, it was like The Office. And I literally could not stop giggling, because people were like, oh, I love that book. I've even done 1 person, 1 book, but that's way advanced. Don't do that. That's way advanced. Don't do that. I mean, women do it because they bring a book to the bar, but like, kind of just do 2 dudes, 2 books. but I did one dude, 3 books. It was like, it sounds like, well, okay, so when I say one dude, 3 books, what do you think happened? Yeah. At the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl is like what, Tuesday to Monday. Some people come in on Saturday. Most people come in on like Friday or Thursday. And like genius sports people come in on Monday because it's a week of a trade show called the Super Bowl. And so I have 3 books. What do you think's going on? Or what do you think happened? Basically what you're doing is you're running the office, and then so people come up to you and they're like, oh, is that your book? You know, it's a common question, right? Or they'll be like, oh, are you doing a book signing? Every question is a money question. Like, I'm there with 3 books. You must have at least read that book, right? Nobody even said, oh, what's in chapter 4? Why would you ever have 3 of the same book? And then what else did I do to keep winning when people had an opening question? I would solve their problem, and I would hunt for their problem with a chapter in the book. So they'd be like, oh, let's talk about something else. So they'd be like, oh, sometimes I don't sleep really well on the road. Or, you know, I think I got a stomach bug, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, chapter 4. Oh, my husband's getting knee surgery and back surgery. Oh, interesting. Chapter 1. It wouldn't go quite that quickly, but it would go like that. And people would be like, I can't believe you did write this book. What? And then they're like, oh, you know, my favorite quarterback, he just gets pressured in the pocket, and then sometimes he panics, right? Typical football conversation. And you're like, yup, time is a flat circle, chapter 11, PQRST. And people will be like, what? Is that real? And then some people will be like, I need to buy that book now. And you're like, well, here's the thing is they're kind of not for sale. And then people literally start throwing thousands of dollars. They'd be like, come on, like, just like be my guru and like solve my shit, because they don't want to read the book. What do they want? They want the information out of chapter 11, chapter 1, chapter 4. And they're literally throwing money. And so that's the magic trick of reading. By just, you don't even have to memorize all of it. Just memorize page 172. And then if you're an IQ of at least 90, as a cheat sheet, write down chapters 1 through 13. Oh, sometimes like before I even start drinking in Vegas, I'm already drunk. Oh, interesting. That's chapter 12. The pineal gland. And then people are like, what? Oh my God, I'm so hungover right now. Oh, well, maybe, are you the person that thinks if you eat greasy food, blah, 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 that it's all blah, blah, blah? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, eat that and then also read the pineal gland, chapter 12. And then people will be like, what? Or they'll be hooked on a substance because they're on drugs or they're vaping or they used to quit vaping or their girlfriend used to vape, whatever. And you're like, yep, chapter 12. Some hot girl was like on my jock and I was trying to talk my way out of vagina. So then guess what I said? You can blow me if you read. Which is why when Bill said, I want to eat your vagina, I'm like, you're actually not that far off. And she goes, I read? I'm like, bullshit, you do not read. I'll fuck you anyway, but you don't read. And she's like, bam! I'm like, what? Like, I think I just came a little bit. And she's like, now I want to blow you even more. And I'm like, what are these books? And then I read them, and then she had an orgasm because she like gave me this like book list. It was her books at her place. It was her books at her place. It was her books at her place, and that's the power of reading. And the book that I thought was the stupidest is actually the most genius one, Becoming Supernatural, because there was Breaking the Habit of Being You, You Are the Placebo, some massively chick lit book that was like healing your own emotional shit, and then Becoming Supernatural. I'm like, I'll read the chick lit book because I want to like understand, as the Vagina Whisperer, there's a burden to that title. So I'm like, I have to read that book. And it was like this, there's a what? There is. It's not Pussy Magnet. It's not Pussy Magnet, it's Vagina Whisperer. And the fact that once you realize that the two things are massively different, where one is like a burdensome reading of, oh my God, I can't believe I just spent 45 minutes reading 300 pages of pure nonsense. And this is the structure of the nonsense. And then you got to solve the nonsense, and you're like, I need a bath after like women, because I know that women think like this. That's Pussy Magnet, or that's Vagina Whisperer. And so she, and then and Becoming Supernatural. I'm like, there's no way. That is the flagship book that if you read it, you can literally make $5,000 from dudes or women, because each chapter is like wired to solve literally any problem. But you don't have to view it like that. You can just hold the book and just memorize page 172 and just be like, I just want the deal flow off of this. I'm not buying in. You don't have to buy shit all, okay? In fact, just read one page and then maybe 2 chapters, 4 and 11. And then, because that's what the majority of the book solves. Chapter 1 is he got hit by a car, Joe Dispenza. And then this is his 3rd book. His first book is like regular, Evolve Your Brain. Second book is Breaking the Habit of Being You. 3rd book, Becoming Supernatural. And I'm glad he held his 3rd book for last, because he starts off chapter 1 with, I got hit by a car, I broke my back, and I didn't get back surgery. I fixed that shit myself with my brain. Because that's not a good way to lead off. Because then people are like, bullshit, right? Because what the fuck? You got hit by a car, and you could have gotten free back surgery, and you're not going to do it? What's wrong with you? Yeah, and so I get it. But I'm glad he didn't lead off with it, because it was Evolve Your Brain, Breaking the Habit of Being You. Yeah, and so the hot girl mentioned 2 books actually at a holiday party. And then when she mentioned the book, she thought that there's no way that I was ever going to read them, let alone write chapter 17 of his book. Because that's how annoying I am, is if I read a book, I'm going to extrapolate your next book, or at least extrapolate 1 chapter, because you haven't read all the books I have, and I will help you do your bibliography. Yeah. Good job with your brain. Seriously. Good job with your brain, with 90 minutes of compression algorithm exploding in your brain. Did you study engineering, computer engineering? Or CS? Oh my God. This is going to blow your mind. Me too. Do you know who Professor Zumdahl is? Or Steven Zumdahl? He wrote the book Chemistry, Zumdahl, Zumdahl. You got to look him up. You probably used this textbook, you just didn't know who wrote it. So, Zumdahl. Yeah. Yeah. So I studied chemical engineering at University of Illinois, and I met him my freshman year. The author, I met him. And then he's the guy who helped me get the #1 starting salary at the University of Illinois, because every time I worked as a chemical engineer for NALCO, NALCO, and I didn't go on sales calls as Larry Chang, IQ 500, okay? Nobody buys shit from that guy. Who did I sell chemical as? Steven Zumdahl explaining to retards some of the most genius chemistry shit that's ever been known to man. And so everybody bought chemical. And I'm like, fucking Steven Zumdahl is amazing. I know. And then Duck 9, which you haven't even looked up, all the credit innovations. So I started my company with what 2 books? You're fucking welcome, by the way. You're fucking welcome. What 2 books did I start? Do you like how I'm not even waiting for a thank you? I know you're thankful. What 2 books did I start my company? So you're gonna have to defend me, because you're gonna be like, Larry says this, Larry says that, and then all your friends who don't want to do shit are gonna be like, Larry Chang's a homosexual who wants to fuck you, or what? Oh, I think he's heterosexual, or Larry's a scam artist. He's just gonna ask you for like $17 million. Like, what? What? It's every excuse for I don't want to read 1 page of a book or buy a book. So what 2 books did I use to start my company? Because this is what you need to do to defend me, but also not that I need defense, but because you need defense. Because this is the 3 laws of thermodynamics, which is proof of work. So what 2 books did I use? It's What They Don't Teach at Harvard Business School by Mark McCormack, and Jerry Detweiler, The Ultimate Credit Handbook. So the 3rd book that I used to literally do 9 figures before I left college was Steven Zumdahl's book, Chemistry. So I did cell phone number underwriting, which, because you didn't ask, hey, do you have money? Hey, are you money? Hey, what do you do for money? This is the answer to the question that you didn't ask, which is the 3rd book I brought in was Solid Liquid Gas. That's it. Problem. Credit was solid or gas, nothing in between. A FICO score of 650 was a FICO score of 650. There was no vector to that number. What did I do? You're a chemical engineer. What did I do? Credit the entire multi-trillion-dollar industry. At the time, it was smaller. It was every FICO 712 was like every other FICO 712. So what would you do using chemical engineering to solve that? You would add a vector. You would add a vector to a static number, because I just said it too. It is solid, liquid, gas. So when I entered the industry, it was only gas or solid, meaning it was a yes or a no. There was no path for maybe, which is why when you said 90% of the women want to sleep with 2% of the men, that's actually completely against your shit degree that you're not leveraging, because it turns out every girl would consider you knowing truths that she will eventually know, which is there's a liquid that's a maybe in the credit decisioning processing. So it's not just a yes or no, it's maybe. Did I just bring hypergamy into it? Thank you. It is. Yeah. It's next level, right? Because she's definitely maybe. Like, she was not that girl that I was having orgasm twice. She did not have on her menu, oh, Chinese food's on the menu tonight. I got to go get me some Chinese food. Especially after we're asking for church, asking for restaurant food, and then we fucked up. We did fuck up when we were like, yeah, buy us a drink. Like, do you even want a drink? No. We're just asking for shit that we don't want. And when men act like women, men lose. Because would you even have drunk that drink? No, because we were done drinking. Solid liquid gas. So I literally took one graph that Steven Zumdahl gave me, and I made an unbelievable amount of money, because you're rejecting people that you should be saying maybe to. But that's against the law. You can't tell them maybe. You have to say no and give them a reason. So what did I do? You're an engineer. That's an engineered solution. So now what do? If you say hard no, that's an inquiry. A hard no with a no. So now you said double no. And remember, you're a pussy magnet. So now what do you do to keep people, because you need to spin plates for customers. Oh my God. I'm being an asshole right now. But it's funny, right? Because you're literally trying to spin plates doing credit card lead generation by not avoiding the double no, which is I'm going to do a pre-approval in a true approval that's prior, versus everyone else was doing pre-approval actually not pre-approved. Do you kind of see that, or do you not see that? They're pre-approving people that they later reject. That's what women do. And credit card companies. What did I do? I made the pre-approval a real pre-approval by engineering the solution as if Steven Zumdahl were doing credit card lead generation. Exactly. It's exactly that. In your one sentence. And do you see how I'm trying to build up your confidence before you hang up? Because I don't want you leaving the conversation not confident. Because what you said, you can do anytime you want. Which is, I had 2 books to start, Ultimate Credit Handbook and What They Don't Teach at Harvard Business School. That got me to a base camp. That got me my lemonade stand business up and going. When it became a YC unicorn was when I brought in chemistry. Because, and I even told people, hey, I'm getting it, I'm citing and sourcing. And that's Mark McCormack. How to do what Mark McCormack does without having to hire Mark McCormack. How to do what Larry Chang does by regurgitating Joe Dispenza without having to pay Larry Chang. How to do what Duck 9 does without having to hire Duck 9. How to learn at Stanford what they teach at Stanford before having to pay Stanford, so that way you can go to Stanford GSB for free. Because what I did, people don't want it. Because what I did to Stephen Blank with showing up at 4 Steps to the Epiphany, that's what I did. That was not the first time I had run that. That was not the first time I had controlled an author with a book. The first one, what? Yeah, that wasn't the first, that wasn't like, the question is never asked, which is that the first time you did that? Oh my God, that's amazing. That wasn't the first time I did that. That wasn't the first time I did it. That was like the umpteenth thing that I timed, but then it became memorable because then Harvard published the 5th Epiphany. The first significant time that I did it was for the SATs for a business that I started by reading the SAT book and then teaching women how to take the SAT. It is, because that's all that is just reading a book and like baby stepping towards it. And then Stanford GSB for free is when Irv Grousbeck had a textbook. And then because Irv Grousbeck had a textbook, I read that textbook. And then after I read that textbook, what happened? Why would I not? How would you go to a person who wrote a book? Irv. He wrote a book, now what? Yes, but initially, remember, because he's got the most #1 popular class at Stanford, where even after you apply to get in, you have to apply again for his class. And so what Warren Buffett did to get into Columbia, and who's the guy who directed Titanic? James Cameron. The way James Cameron got into USC, the way Warren Buffett got into Columbia, the way that Larry Chang got into Stanford GSB, Warren Buffett wrote to the dude who has a textbook at Columbia. What did he write? He wrote, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're alive. That makes you a literal living legend. I use your book at work because I'm editing. And so what's the book Snowball? It's called Snowball. Really? I don't know this book. Yeah. So that's how he got into Columbia, because he went to University of Nebraska Extension, like Lincoln or something. Like he did not go to the regular University of Nebraska. Yeah. Right? It's not. Ten times better, 100 times better. Like, there you go. There you go. Literally what you just said. And do you see how I knew we were going to wrap this conversation, but I wanted to give you confidence because you got 90 minutes of like brain expansion. And so that's exactly right, because I didn't know that James Cameron also did this. I discovered that Warren Buffett did this when I was front row at the Four Seasons Houston at a Super Bowl party where he's launching a miniseries on HBO. I'm sitting in the front row and I'm like asking questions because I'm helpful, softball questions. And I'm like, oh my God, what did you say? He's like, yeah. I'm like, and I kept it to myself because that's how I got into Stanford, is I wrote Irv Grousbeck. I'm like, I literally can't believe you're alive and like really close by in Palo Alto, because you're literally a living legend. You know, I took 3 books and I edited The Credit Industry, and I use your book, Strategic Management 353. I have a small problem, is I'm not understanding Lecture 11 super well in attachment to Chapter 17. Would it be possible for me to visit your class next time you teach Lecture 11? Collateral, default, rope to choke. Would you mind that? He's like, fuck yeah, call me Irv. This is my cell phone number. You know, you're in. I'm like, okay. So I sat in the front, okay, got there 20 minutes early, sat in the front, and then guess what he did? Exactly. And so he's up there talking, and he's like, so we're doing something a little different today. We're talking about lecture number 11. We're going to do something different today. We're actually going to have like our first guest speaker. I'm like, you lazy cunt. You lazy Celtics owning, airmailing your work to some other dude. Like, I came to listen to you, bitch. Like, I was furious. And then, because I spent effort. So then he goes, yeah, this dude's a practitioner. He's a rising star. I'm like, rising star? That means he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like just translating, like listening. And he's like, this is a guy to watch. I'm like, oh shit. He's probably young too. Like, I came to learn from Irv, okay? Like some octogenarian dropping genius shit, talking crazy shit. He's like, all right, let's go, Larry. I'm like, yeah, your name's fucking Larry, okay? You better be ready to fucking go. And he's like, let's go. I'm like, looking around, waiting for the dude. I'm like, let's go. Like, where is this? And he goes, and he hits me and he goes, let's go. I'm like, oh no. No, 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 no. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then everybody literally is laughing at me. There's a Silicon Valley episode of Big Head, the retard, and he gets roped into teaching at Stanford. And he's like, go. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. He's like, this is the guy who emails me to tell me one of my lectures is broken. I'm like, I did not say that, okay? I just said it could be improved. He's like, let's improve it. And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And then people were laughing. So he's like, I'll walk you through it. We'll do a chat. I'm like, oh. And then, he pulled it out of me. And then at the end, he goes, you fucking aced it, okay? I'm like, stop. And everyone's like, yay, like, I can't believe I watched like something magical. He's like, you can come back here anytime. Now, what do you do when somebody says that? What is he talking about? You can come back here anytime. Because people will tell you this shit and you got to pass it if you're going to hang out with me. So now he's saying you can come back at any time. What's he saying? This is like crazy octogenarian genius shit that he's going to test you, and if you fail, you're done. You're not done, but you're done. What is he? Exactly. This is a test. You just aced that shit, and then now he's saying, come back here at any time. What's he saying when he says come back here anytime? What is he saying? No, he's saying you aced it, come back anytime to lecture again. He's saying that because I aced it. So that's what he's saying. You can come back at any time. If you're in the audience, what are you thinking? You're thinking, fuck this guy. He doesn't even go here. And I had to beg to get into this class. I hate that guy. Because he literally said, oh, fuck, you aced it, dude. You know your shit. Come back anytime to lecture. So then what do you say? Because that's not real. It is real. But you need to have the countermeasure for it. And I've seen dudes fuck this up all the time. Where they're like, okay, cool. Can you pay me and I'll come and lecture? Literally, dudes will literally say this. And those dudes don't. Those dudes die. Because they're like, yeah. No, because you can't take that. That is a real offer, but then most people try to make it even more real. Cool, pay me. I want to be a lecturer here. I want to be paid to teach. And that's what literally 99% of dudes do. And then you have to be ready, because I'm telling you this because you could fuck this up. which is why I'm telling you this. What do you need to say as the countermeasure for a shit test? This is a shit test from a billionaire. This is literally a shit test from a billionaire, to use Rollo Tomassi language, because it's not a regular shit test from vagina. This is a shit test from a billionaire. Yeah, see, that's a cunt. That's cunt, which is I'm too busy to come back. That's cunt. Because people will also do that. There's only one thing to say, which is, wait a minute. Are you saying that you're giving me a verbal admission to become a first year fall? Did you just say that? And then you ask the audience, you heard him say that, right? He just admitted me into being a first year. And then guess what the audience thinks? Because they're second years. They're like, this guy. Like, I love this guy. Because he offered me a speaking gig when I took the offer to mean entrance into GSB. So I misheard what you said in a genius way. Like, I'm not coming back here to speak. It's one and done. He doesn't do guest lectures, okay? He said that earlier. And now you're gonna hijack his class? No, okay? You sit in the back quietly, and then you pin him down for, did you just verbally invite me? Because that's the unicorn, is 5 students per year don't even have to apply to get into Stanford GSB. They're the unicorn people. Yeah, they're the unicorn people. And I literally locked in a unicorn while putting myself into the back of the line, the back of the bus, the back of the class. Because I'm like, yeah, everybody heard, right? Irv invited me to attend. Irv invited me. You heard that, right? Everybody heard that, right? And then people were like laughing. They're like, oh my God, this guy's game is like next level, because Irv invited him to speak on lecture 11. There's 9 more lectures. It's a reframe. It's like a pivot, but a reframe. And that's what you're gonna need to do when some dude is like, you know what, Larry's too expensive, I'll just hire you. Are you in? Like, as your intern? Done, okay? In fact, Roger, okay, I've been your fucking intern for 90 minutes of this fucking party already, okay? My champagne bottle's fucking empty, okay? How about a refill? And that's how you do it. And that's how you do it, where you're like, no, you're gonna have to defer to Larry, and then, oh, we could get more champagne. I'm like, I'm fucking with you, Roger. No, I'm done drinking. In fact, you're just giving me a fucking ton of homework, and then fucking Larry's probably gonna like have homework too. Like, I don't even know what's going on right now. That's the test. That's the test. Because you can see how once you do this shit, you're gonna win tests, and you can't take whatever they're throwing at you because it's not a real thing, and you gotta backpedal it. You're saying something with no risk. Whereas if you go, oh yeah, cool. Does that mean I get paid to be a lecturer here? Guess what? You throw a Hail Mary and it's going nowhere. Right? Take zero risk. Take zero risk. Take risk with your feet and your vicinity, the way a woman does. Because when you go up to a foretop to say hi, you just stand near the foretop and you go, I want to say hi, and smile and say nothing. And if they don't say anything, politely wipe your mouth and walk away. And then let them risk, let them, oh no, what I really mean is, like, I want you to come back and lecture again. Cool. I don't believe you, okay, but I'm going to lock in your initial offer to be a first year here. I'm locking that in. Right? But that wasn't the first time, but like that reading a book and then preparing and then asking a semi-intelligent question and then getting offers thrown at you and then not saying yes to all of them, but to march it forward, and then you have to, next time we go out, okay, The book is extra credit, but you have to have a pocket notebook. You have to. You can't write shit in your phone. What? You cannot. Do you ever see me pull up? The reason I ran the office so well, how many times did I touch my phone? You intrinsically, unconsciously couldn't see it. Unconsciously, you couldn't see it. But women see it as, oh my God, he doesn't need his phone. And literally, you could just be in the office with not touching your phone. Look at that dude Andrew, who is hooked on ketamine. He had his phone and while he was trying to tell me about Roger Blitzerian and his business model, and how he was going to be an affiliate and how I should pay him money to be a Dan Blitzerian social engineer. Like, he literally pitched me on that. I'm like, interesting. But like, he ended up, I don't think he talked to hardly any women, except for women that were like, hey, can I have a blast on your vape? Which is also another business model, is drugs as a business model. But like, that's horrendous. People do that in this city all the time. In fact, that's another thing that we could say is are you a drug person? And then she'll be like, kinda. And then I'm not like, oh, you're not qualified to suck my dick because you like drugs? What do I say? I'm so fucking annoying right now. Chapter 12, Becoming Supernatural. I know. Hey, you guys look like you're having so much fun. Are you guys high right now? Do you guys have more drugs? What are you guys on right now? Yeah, we're high for sure. And then you'll be, come on, I want some. Cool. And then chapter 12. I know. Is this crazy shit? It's crazy shit because you see it all the time. Because you're like, oh, will you buy me a drink? Oh, yeah. Yeah, me buying you a drink is a really, really good idea. In fact, countermeasure. Okay, a girl asks you to buy a drink. What do you say? You guys are so cool. I'm so thirsty. Will you buy me a drink? Go. Actually, that's so bad, it's actually good. But yeah, exactly. That's exactly. And if she goes, I want to buy a drink, you go, I go. That's actually genius. Chapter 12. Oh my God, a drink right now would be so delicious. That's literally what I say. That's literally what I say. Because girls are like, dude, you are loaded. And you're like, you can buy me a drink and I'm going to fuck you right afterwards. Like, that's where women will be at with us. And then what do we say? We're getting you a bottle and we're drinking it at your place. Okay, done.